Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the Mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, we've been going through the roster position by position group, and now we're up to tight ends. Normally, we would probably lump this position in with receivers or offensive linemen, but honestly, with the way this position is kind of grown in importance with David Yost coming to the program and everything, and how they utilize the tight end, how tight end's always on the field now, I think it's important we can go ahead and focus on this position group. Just overall, though, how do you feel like the position performed in the previous season? And there's been a lot of talk about them perhaps being underutilized after a whole lot of talk about it. Well, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate point to make. I thought Thompson at times looked like a really, really good receiver out there, and it seemed like a little bit of a forgotten man sometimes. And Koontz came in, and he was a very good complement to Thompson as well. And so, it will be interesting to see whether that position is featured a little bit more this year. But, I mean, look, with all the receivers that Texas Tech has, there's only one ball out there, so.
And they want to run the ball.
And they want to run it, so what are you going to do? I mean, ultimately, you throw to your best weapons for the most part, and who are they? Are the tight ends coming back next year going to be up there with Dalton Rigdon and Keyshawn Carter and TJ Vasher and all those guys? Can they command touches like that? I don't know. So, but you also count on them as blockers as well. So that's going to be a huge thing.
Yeah, I felt like they underwhelmed me as receivers. Like, I thought they would play a bigger role in the passing game, especially Thompson and Koontz. I mean, Koontz was a really highly rated guy when they landed him, but they actually did better in the run blocking game than I expected. I knew they were going to be a big part of it. They're usually like the tip of the spear, a lead blocker type. But I thought they actually performed at least up to expectations, if not surpassed them. I mean, they did it much better. I mean, Dante putting on that weight and becoming a more physical presence. I mean, he was night and day better as a blocker. Still, I'd like to see a little more even distribution. I'd like to see, like, Travis Koontz, who's returning. I think it all starts with talk about him. He's going to be a senior, big dude, he has good size, good athleticism. I think he could catch 30 balls next year. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, he's a physical guy too.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to mix it up in there. Honestly, to me, sort of in terms of like measurables and stuff like that, this guy looks kind of like an NFL prospect.
Right.
So you hope that he takes the next step and becomes really kind of at least a semi-dominant sort of a player. I think on paper he has that potential to do so, and we'll just have to see what transpires.
Yeah, and then Simon Gonzalez is a guy who came in. He was, a pretty highly rated recruit for a tight end. He redshirted. He actually came in early for last spring, so he's had a lot of time in the system now. He's developed. He's added a lot of weight. I think last time I heard he added 25 pounds, so he has 6'6" frame. So he's a big dude, and he has tape where it proves that he can be a receiver. We know he has that capability. So I'm interested to see if he is that second guy and how he performs. And when we saw him in spring ball, I thought he played pretty well.
Yes, yeah, I absolutely thought he played pretty well, and he was out there a lot. He was getting, and he
wasn't there yet.
Right. But yeah, he was repping with the ones and the twos, and he was flexed out. He was in tight, and I thought he was one of the better young players in the spring that I saw.
Right.
So, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, and I think he could be a surprise for some people.
Another guy I want to mention just because I love his name is Mason McHorse. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, it's time to saddle up and ride, man.
He's more of a blocking type, but, at least he has some experience. He's played in some games. I mean, he played in some, some Big 12 games a couple years ago. So he's at least there. He at least knows the system. There's a guy you can count on. Now, they got a guy coming in. He's not going to be here in spring, but he'll be here in the summer. A local guy out of Wellington, John Holcomb, 6'5", 215, which Coach Wells said on National Signing Day or on the early period signing day that he's going to put some weight on him. After Coach Scholes gets a hold of him, that he'll be a much bigger player, but he'll still be able to run. He's a sprinter for Wellington too, so I mean, this guy could be a big-time target at some point. I think the hope is that he can redshirt as a freshman, though.
Right. Well, I just got to say this. I mean, only in Texas is a town that's 160 miles away local.
That's true.
Way up in the
No,
panhandle.
you're right,
but
you're
but
right.
yeah,
I meant
we do.
West Texas. That's what I
That's
meant,
right.
yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody would agree with you. That's local for these parts. But yeah, I mean, a hurdler, right? If I remember
Oh, he was
correctly,
a
didn't he run some
sprinter, and I
hurdlers?
think he was a hurdler,
Yeah, yeah. So this is, I mean, you like those athletic guys and to really get downfield, and we'll see. I mean, I think he could probably figure in here before too long. I don't know if he's going to be able to come in and make an impact immediately, but he's a good-looking prospect.
Yeah, Joe, I think the one unexpected, for me at least, it was unexpected departure from the roster who we're going to have to watch and see if that ends up hurting is Tyler Carr. He's a guy who's been in the system for a long time. He played everything from defensive line to offensive tackle to tight end. He was a really nice kind of third option, I felt like. But he was put on scholarship. He was a walk-on under Cliff Kingsbury, but then put on scholarship by Coach Wells and the staff. So you would think he would stick around, but it looks like he entered the transfer portal and he's going to be moving on. So we'll have to see if that hurts or if it's a non-issue or what, because he didn't play a whole lot this past year. But it stands to reason though that he might have had a shot moving forward this year with just the experience he has. But we'll have to see. All right, well, that's tight ends. Up next will be offensive line. Mighty Joe, great stuff from you as always. Thank y'all for watching, and until next time.